Canada Day is coming. It's going to be our 159th anniversary of Confederation. Although I have at least one friend who says that the country is at least 162 years old. I don't particularly agree with this point of view, but it does raise an interesting question. How old is Canada really? Now, to the First Nations, Canada is unbelievably ancient. It has been here since time immemorial. Geologists would agree the Canadian Shield, which makes up the majority of the Canadian landmass, is among the oldest geological formations on Earth. The French holdings in North America had many names, but they were often referred to as the Canadas, so there you have the name coming in. After the 1757 conquest, followed by the American Revolution, the last British holdings in North America were themselves split into two and renamed. Nova Scotia became Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and Quebec became Upper and Lower Canada. And there you have the name Canada being used officially. Now, the governing of these colonies was non-democratic and deeply unsatisfactory to many of the colonists, leading to the foolhardy and uncoordinated rebellions of 1837. Following that, upon the recommendations of Lord Durham in his report, Upper and Lower Canada were united in 1840 into a single body of two parts named Canada East and Canada West. Eventually, this new body achieved the responsible and largely democratic government that the colonists desired, and this government promptly fell into absolute deadlock. It was so bad they couldn't even decide where the capital city was, and every few years or even months, the government would break up, move, and relocate someone else. Eventually, it was realized the only way to break the deadlock was to bring more colonies into the deal. The 1860s were a fortuitous time for this because the four Atlantic colonies, Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, were entering into discussion amongst themselves to form their own union. The United Province of Canada East and Canada West crashed the party and offered them another kind of union, one with them. Keep in mind, they were asking the Atlantic colonies to join a much larger, both geographically and in terms of population. And the whole mess was going to be called Canada. Two of the colonies, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, agreed. Prince Edward Island and Newfoundland rejected the Confederation at that time. The deal was sent to Britain to be ratified, and the British North America Act was passed, which joined the four provinces, Canada East and West being resplit and officially named Quebec and Ontario, into a new country which had the same name as the Union of 1840, Canada. The date it was to come into effect was set for July 1st, 1867. But that was just a tiny fraction of the country as it is today. Manitoba joined in 1870, British Columbia joined in 1871, Prince Edward Island joined with absolutely no enthusiasm whatsoever in 1873. Alberta and Saskatchewan became provinces in 1905. Newfoundland was the last province to join Confederation in 1949 after a referendum which many people believe was fixed. They're probably right. Our two territories were reorganized into three territories with the official creation of Nunavut in 1999. But there's more to it than that as well. While we became a country of sorts in 1867, we were a nation that did not have independence from its parent country. In 1919, we joined the League of Nations independently from Britain, and in 1939, the Statute of Westminster recognized our independence from Britain, thus making Canada the first nation to win its independence by asking for it nicely. And then in 1982, Canada repatriated the British North America Act and replaced it with the Canada Act, which became the new Constitution of Canada. Now, the Canada today bears virtually no resemblance to the Canada of 1867, or of 1919, or of 1931, or of any other time in between. The country has been made and remade time and time again, destroyed like it was flattened by an army of steamrollers and then rebuilt from the wreckage. Any one of the incidents I mentioned here could be taken as the beginning of Canada. Canada could be much older than 159, or I could be much older than it. But July 1st, 1867 is a convenient date. It's as good as any, better than most, to mark the start. Oh, the name Canada? Usually the name Canada is taken as coming from the First Nations word Kanata, meaning the village or the small collection of huts. But there are some who believe that its name comes from another source. Many of the first explorers out here first European explorers were in fact Portuguese. In Portuguese, the word cá nada means here is nothing. So whether or not you're in your village or you're in the middle of nothing, Happy Canada Day to you.